What year? What year is it? In 1969. Is it the one on the very top right here? The 14 years ago? Okay. Let's see.
Of course, it says pancakes on the outside, but there's a lot more on the inside. And the prices? Designed for the very hungry family.
I see. I don't know what I just watched. All I saw were people with balloons in a regular IHOP commercial and how weird they are. Don't defy subscription. I see. Okay. That was not weird. I didn't realize IHOP even had commercials. Like at all. Did you want me to react to anything else or something? Yes, it was a very weird commercial. Well, back to animating I go.
I have become a mother, and I'm going to put this kid in a box, and then surround him with traumatizing clown things. I want to make sure that he's really adequately traumatized.
No. I pressed the X. Okay, there you go. Okay. I don't know how to draw that thing. Okay. I think about like 2 from I mean what? But yeah, I think I have like 2. Just 2, but I think I managed to get him off. I think. Hopefully. For good. By the way, this is a joke. This is a joke. No, I meant this is a joke. I meant this is a joke. I guess it's not a joke. But glad we got something and we got that thing in common, you know? Why am I drawing faces? Because, yes. What did you do today? Pahil. What's a pahil? What's a pahil? Is that how you even pronounce it? What's a pahil? Pahil. 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 No, pahil. Oh my god. Pahil. Okay, wait. Is this how you pronounce it? With the pa and the heel? Whatever that is? What is that? Pahil. Pahil. That. Wait. Pahil. Huh? Calm down. I'm out of school. I don't need more math. This is math. Pahil. Pahil. Okay, I don't understand that. I was about to do some actual math. Let's not do that. Math is no. Yes, absolutely. Pahil is R34. Because, yes. You don't know how many times I've tried yesterday and today to make this live stream work because I kept pressing the button that's like, I don't think you can see it, it's like right above the bar where this thing is, you know, that thing right there with the text tool, paint tool, whatever. I always keep pressing it, and when I press it, it like stops the stream for me, and then I have to go all the way to the freaking actual video and press private so nothing else happens, and then I have to make a new one, and then it turns off again, it does the same thing, and then I'm driving myself crazy, and then I just give up. So yeah. Anyways, how's your day today? Just your day in general. What'd you guys do today? What'd you do? You know, interesting stuff. What'd you do? Very weird day. And God. Okay, let's see. We got a very weird day. Thank God. Is there something I'm missing here? Because someone had a very weird day, and then we had God. Was I missing out on something? Did something happen outside when I wasn't outside? Okay. It gets the message God, but in an atheist way. I watched Binding of Isaac. Yes, the Binding of Isaac. What an awesome game. This is Binding of Isaac. Yep, this is the Isaac. Isaac with his... I don't know how to draw his mom. Hold up. We'll just pretend this is his mom. This is his mom. Yes. This is basically the Binding of Isaac in one scene. Wait, before I do anything, wait. There, the Binding of Isaac in one scene. Then, yep. I'm an awesome drawer. Oh, freak, I can't read the whole thing. Hold up. I love how Edmund McKellen was gonna explain the beast ending, but he just freaking ends the stream. So amazing, isn't it? Like, oh, I'm gonna show you something awesome. That's like saying, hey, you wanna know the meaning of life? Of course I do. Isn't everyone? Well, I know the meaning of life, and the meaning of life is... This is the meaning of life. Basically, that's what it means. Burp. Dude, that stream button right there is scaring me so badly. I don't want to end the stream, because that would be terrifying if it just like happened and then I'd have to start all over again. Wait, so the meaning of wait. Finger. Yep. Wait, hold up. Absolutely, yes. I don't know how to draw this. Hold up. We all bowed down to the superior thing of a middle finger. We all bowed down. Watch an iceberg. Okay, which iceberg? I don't think I'm ever gonna finish this Butters meme right now, so... What's iceberg exactly? All hail the middle finger. Yes. Wait, I need to add that to my surprise. If that ad comes on, are you serious? Okay. Oh yeah, we got pink pill supremacy, so now it's time for middle finger supremacy. But wait, I got an idea. I don't know what I just said. Now tell me what iceberg to react to. Watch an iceberg explained. Yes, I knew, but like, what iceberg? Like, I don't know, if the fandom or something. I don't know, Baldi's Basics or South Park or I don't know, some kind of game or show. Creepypasta, disturbing content. Is it like a YouTube channel or are you just hold up. Disturbing content to YouTube. Of course, knowing the meaning of I have to go sideways again. Beep. Of course, knowing the meaning of life would be important to some, but I'd prefer that to be something that I would find myself as aging. Having it told to me would kind of ruin the fun of figuring it out. Yeah. Wait. Oh, frick, stop turning. Okay. Disturbing content. Disturbing YouTube content. Just iceberg. So, explained. Which one? Which one exactly? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one? The first one or one of these? What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative. How do you get the idea? Yeah, oh, the first... So I have to go sideways again. The first two are good, maybe even the second one. Because 56 minutes? Jesus Christ. I'm gonna do this one. Because I see Don't Hug Me, I'm scared.
If you are buying or selling a property and need a realtor, let Fast Expert match you with the top real estate agents in your area. Simply fill out your zip code and answer a few questions.
YouTube is a strange place. Anyone can upload to the website as much as they want at virtually no cost.
Yep.
This little entry bar is allowed for some truly unusual and disturbing pieces of art to call the website home.
Yep.
I came across this chart that originated from Reddit user BeanBurger9 that lists some of these videos and series in order of increasing obscurity and creepiness. Before I start, I guarantee that nobody watching this video is subscribed. I make videos covering indie games and videos similar to the ones on this iceberg. I actually have a series where I'm reviewing Adult Swim infomercials, one of which appears on this chart. If you like that kind of stuff, click the subscribe button. Alright, enough shameless promoting. Let's dive in.
The sky. I see Don't Hug Me, I'm scared, yes.
The weird side of YouTube.
Okay.
The weird side of YouTube is a phrase and belief that if you watch enough suggested videos, the algorithm will carry you to the so-called weird side of YouTube. All of these following videos are classic weird side content. Fake anti-piracy screens. There was a recent trend where people would create fake anti-piracy screens for older video games. Tech Rules, a channel that explains video game coding tricks, has a great video where he analyzes the trend. Elsagate.
What the?
Elsagate was a YouTube community movement that aimed to expose the strange and sometimes inappropriate videos aimed at kids on YouTube. The controversy was named Elsagate, as characters like Elsa from Frozen and Spider-Man made frequent appearances in the unsettling videos. Salad Fingers.
Oh, Salad Fingers.
Salad Fingers is an insanely popular YouTube animated series, revolving around the titular character and his strange antics. The series ran for 12 years, and the host channel has nearly 250 million views.
What?
It was quite a hard series to miss.
Spins.
Lost Episode Creepypasta
Suicide
videos.
Squidward.
Lost Episode Creepypastas are a genre of creepypasta revolving around obscure and disturbing episodes of kids' shows that were left on the cutting room floor. The most popular one is Red Mist, or as it's known more commonly, Squidward Suicide. The story is full of tropes like the overuse of the adjective hyper-realistic and many more dumb creepypasta tropes. But that didn't stop me from watching video readings of it as a dumb child.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is a short film series created by Becky Sloan and Joseph Pelham, known for its interesting art style and puppet characters. Originally intended as a standalone student film, the series became a pioneer by being crowdfunded on Patreon. The main critiques of the series revolve around British children's TV and its approach to topics like incorrect creativity, product placement, and mostly ignoring actual education. There's a full-length TV show in the works that has a trailer, but it might take a second before it comes out.
I'm still waiting for it.
Smile
Wait,
HD.
HD, I used to love this, I still love this.
Smile HD is an animated My Little Pony gore music video. The original upload dates back to 2013, but this version has been deleted.
Awesome.
The video survives on and re-uploads in reaction videos. Happy Tree Friends.
Happy Tree Friends.
Happy Tree Friends is a series by Mondo Media. Happy Tree Friends is similar to Smile HD in the sense that it ropes you in with cute cartoon characters and then shocks you with the gore. There's not really a deep story or anything, it's just meant to be as shocking as possible. The most popular episode, Lemonade, definitely scarred some kids for life.
Oh, I see Petscop. Oh, Local 58. Oh god, I hate this noise. No. Stop. Oh, I hate this noise so bad it scares me. Stop.
Local 58. Local 58 is a horror series that presents itself as scary broadcast interruptions. There's an overarching story about the moon and mind control, but all the videos stand alone great. Myself and many others were introduced to the series through the popular video Contingency. Other popular videos are Real Sleep and Show for Children. If you haven't seen their videos before, I strongly recommend watching them.
What's an arc? What is that? I've never seen that before.
Beasts.
Beasts?
Beast is an animated music video for a song of the same name. The video has these strange animated green beasts that announce the societal role.
Or a green version of
The video is bookended by a shot of the Earth. At the beginning it looks normal, but at the end of the song, the Earth begins to turn yellow. This is likely a commentary on climate change and the destructive nature of human society and our environment. The song is really catchy too, which is nice.
Oh, Ben drowned. Is Ben drowned? Ben drowned? Oh, it is.
Ben Drowned.
I used to love creepypasta.
Ben Drowned is a creepypasta and series of ROM hack Let's Plays. The story is about a haunted copy of the game Majora's Mask. This copy is said to contain the spirit of Ben, a child who drowned. The story was revolutionary at the time for using gameplay videos to enhance a creepypasta. The Ben statue literally gave me nightmares when I was younger. It's so unsettling.
Petscop. Yes, Petscop.
Petscop is another ARG, inspired in large part by creepypastas such as the previous entry. The series has 24 installments, all of them featuring strange and eerie gameplay made by the creator. Big channels like the Game Theorists and Pyrocynical have popular videos explaining him.
What the heck?
I Feel Fantastic. I Feel Fantastic is the worst Taylor Swift music video.
What?
The video is of a singing robot repeating that they, well, feel fantastic. There are a lot of rumors going around about the video being tied to a serial killer or the robot being a killer that wore the clothes of her victims, but these were all false. The video is just a very strange art project.
Oh no, it's just no.
Blank Room Soup. Blankroomsoup.avi is an alleged dark web torture video. The true origin is actually kind of sad. The video contains a distressed man eating soup while two costume characters torture him. The costumes were originally created by artist Raymond Percy and were stolen before one of his live shows. The video is believed to have been made to taunt him over his art being stolen. Obey the Walrus. Obey the Walrus is a weird video from the early days of YouTube. It gained a reputation for being very disturbingly frightening. All the video consists of is footage of actor Goddess Bunny, a disabled drag queen who actually passed away recently, and a reversed version of the song The Itsy Bitsy Spider. The video is called Obey the Walrus because of the walrus seen at the end of the video. This video is not particularly scary, it's just really strange. Hey Walter. Hey Walter, Meet My New Girlfriend is a fake kidnapping video. The video stars a Redditor who's making a video for his friend Walter to describe how he picked up a girl and brought her home. We then find out that he kidnapped her and tied her up in his bathroom. The video is a hoax, but that didn't stop people trying to connect it to a real missing persons case. Meet My New Girlfriend was removed and a police investigation was launched, which proved the obvious truth that this video was made to scare people. Username 666.
Of course.
Username 666 is another horror video from the early days of YouTube. The video is about how, if you continually go to the user page for YouTube profile 666 Bloody Mary style, you'll eventually reach the page. When you reach the channel, your user interface becomes graphic and unsettling videos will play. Channel 666 will eventually take over your computer and maybe do something worse. It's a computer, what can it do? The video was a viral hit and went on to play a large part in inspiring YouTube horror as a whole.
The dawn is your enemy.
The Dawn is Your Enemy. The Dawn is Your Enemy is a sign-off bumper for the Cartoon Network programming block Adult Swim. The video was made intentionally scary in case any children stayed up too late or woke up too early to watch TV. The video became a hit on YouTube because of its unsettling nature. There was a creepypasta that says that there's an extended version of it that was too graphic to play on TV, but there's no evidence to prove or disprove this event. Adult Swim revived the bumper recently for an update titled The Sun Is Your Frenemy.
Oh, jeez.
I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy. I
Is that
am
Poppy?
Poppy. I am Poppy.
Oh, yeah,
Poppy.
it is Poppy.
Poppy was a strange piece of performance art in a YouTube ARG. The Poppy character was made to comment on the emptiness of pop music and its very artificial feel. She's moved away from this angle and is now a touring musician, and she seems to be making fairly good music.
I'm feeling a light to decent 8 on this one. Transition.
Hello, sir. Ooh, I've never
Little
seen
Baby's
that.
Ice
Oh, I've
Cream.
seen this.
Little Baby's Ice Cream is a strange series of commercials. Their most famous upload is This Is a Special Time. The commercial has a woman staring at the viewer while covered in ice cream. She takes a spoonful of hair ice cream and eats it. The weird music and flat narration makes the whole commercial have an eerie feel. There are other commercials, but none of them really have the same impact.
I see.
We all scream for little baby's ice cream.
Okay, maybe that one comes close. Pizza Time Pizza. Pizza Time Pizza is a cult ARG series created by YouTuber and fellow Alex Vale. Alex has created other terrifying content like the Airbud rap, so horror is definitely his strong suit. In all seriousness, it was a very well done series. It's only 10 episodes plus some other small side content, so I definitely recommend giving it a chance. Dad. Dad is another ARG, and I hope you're not getting sick of hearing about them because they're not going away soon. Dad is a strange channel because he's trying to run an ARG, parody popular YouTube content, and also be a serious YouTuber of his own at the same time.
Oh, come on. I think it's telling me to take a freaking break. I don't even know how much I even watched of that. Let's see. Should I continue? Yeah, I'm gonna pause it, but... Oh, you're here? Okay. Do I continue reacting? Yes? Oh, okay. Well, here I go again. What the? That's me in Minecraft.
His horror videos are well produced, and he's interacted with some major channels like MatPat and Nightmind. He's an incredibly well-rounded content creator and a pretty good DJ. Cat Ghost. Cat Ghost is an animated ARG series. This ARG had good animation and came with some playable games that fleshed out the lore Five Nights at Freddy's style. I never kept up with the story, but the pilot and Gideon are pretty perfect in my opinion.
There is something wrong with Teddy. Don't worry, Teddy. The doctor's going to find out what is wrong.
Teddy has an operation. Teddy has an operation is the weirdest Build-A-Bear commercial ever. This genuinely disturbing video has a surgeon perform a rehabilitative surgery on a teddy bear, so he'll love kids again. The surgeon removes cigarette butts, toy bugs, and an evil action figure from his cow-sized heart. I have to admit, after rewatching this one while writing the script, after the original shock, it was kind of strangely comforting in a way. Nothing explicitly malicious or scary happens, and in the end, everything ends up fine. Sitting and smiling.
Oh, I've seen this.
Sitting and smiling.
Okay, sitting and smiling, I saw a girl on TikTok do that, and all she did was sit and smile for about like 2 years. So...
Smiling is a long-running series where the creator, Benjamin Bennett, sits and smiles at the camera for 4 hours. He never breaks his concentration, even when, in an early episode, someone breaks into his house. The intruder is horrified to see a man sitting and smiling at a webcam, so he immediately leaves. Benjamin has recorded his meditation session 314 times now at the time of recording, with all of them being at least 4 hours. He live streams all of his sessions. Agamemnon counterpart. Agamemnon counterpart is what kid shows would look like if they were made by aliens after we went extinct. The video opens with a disclaimer that states the video we're about to see is a recovered cassette from the year 2571. But wait, the video we're about to watch is then stated to not be the contents of the ancient artifact. Following this, there's about a minute of surreal animation. I think this video is hilarious because it reminds me of the fact that one day, humans will go extinct, and the last remnant of our society could be the Minions movie. Agamemnon counterpart is similar to how aliens might understand and try and reconstruct our media in the future.
Now I gotta make my own theories.
Buff Corral. Buff Corral is a dance, karaoke, and fitness channel. The reason I put him on this list is because he's been dancing the same way, in the same apartment, in front of the same poster of himself for 7 years. He also appears to Vaseline his hair back and have massive drawn-on eyebrows. I definitely respect the dedication to his bit, but it's really strange. He does have a beautiful voice, though. Happy Anniversary. Happy Anniversary is a video of an old man laughing at his camera for a minute. This may seem like an old man who just accidentally uploaded something to YouTube, but there's a more sinister side to the video. The really disturbing element is the caption, Happy Anniversary 112 Dirtbag. The video was uploaded on the anniversary of the disappearance of Mara Murray on Route 112. When the victim's father was interviewed on the crime, he called the supposed kidnapper of Mara a dirtbag, hence the eerie caption. The old man was tracked down and investigated by the police, but they couldn't get any leads from him. Either the video was an astronomically unlucky coincidence, or the old man is a real messed up form of humor. Lasagna Cat. Lasagna Cat is a series created by Fatal Farm. Here's a fun Fatal Farm fact. Smart Pipe, the Adult Swim infomercial, was also created by them. This series analyzes Garfield comics by having actors act them out in real life, and then showing the source material. There's usually some sort of remix or expansion added onto the joke, like a Final Fantasy parody, or somebody telling an hour-long story about how the comic changed their life. The whole point was to show that Garfield, on its own, despite its popularity, is not funny, but when it's remixed, it becomes way more interesting. Garfield is a character with universal appeal that could theoretically one day make some sort of ironic comeback in pop culture. The series is most famous for a 4-hour-long sex survey result video, where they ask people to call in, give their name, and give their previous number of sexual partners. Grow 64. Grow 64 is an ARG created by Adam Butcher of Internet Story fame. The story is about a cancelled N64 game called Catastrophe Crow. Butcher is the host of an informational video covering the history and tragic backstory of the game. He goes to great lengths at the start to establish credibility as a Nick Robinson-type YouTuber, and it works. I won't talk too much about this one, because it's really something everyone should experience unspoiled. Go watch it after you're finished here. It does not disappoint.
Finish your fade without pause. Try YouTube Premium on us in style.
There. Body of the iceberg. Daisy Brown. I think I've seen that before.
WebDriver Torso. WebDriver Torso was a YouTube test upload channel. WebDriver Torso had over 600,000 videos, most of which featured flashing red and blue boxes and strange high-pitched noises. There were a few deviations, though. A video of the Eiffel Tower, a Rickroll, and a paywalk video of Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Crash. The channel was created to test YouTube features by Google engineers and was never meant to be found by anyone. There is nothing. Dining Room, There is Nothing, is a viral free YouTube video. The video features a strange, play-looking woman say a distorted phrase and then drop her head in the bowl in front of her. At this point, the video reverses itself, and when played backwards, we can make out the words, "There is nothing." The video was viral before YouTube, but the website helped it remain relevant.
What is that?
Hi guys, it's Daisy Brown. I'm just talking over the camera, and I'm going to show you guys how I feed Alan.
Daisy Brown. Daisy Brown is a horror series about Daisy and her pet monster Alan. Alan is a puppet monster that cleverly communicates with custom closed captions. The series documents Alan's growth from baby size to a full-grown adult. Alan is likely a metaphor for domestic abuse and parental trauma, because there's quite a focus on Daisy being bruised and her elusive father. The series was definitely very homemade, but that didn't stop it from blowing up. I enjoy the Daisy Brown channel because it's an example of amateur horror content done right. What's stopping you from grabbing your phone and filming your viral horror hit? She recently made a personal channel answering Q&A questions about the series. It's really interesting to finally have behind-the-scenes info. This house has people in it. I covered this video in my series on the Adult Swim infomercials, which you can find in the iCard.
Good thing I'm not in the dark. Even though, I think I like that. That's cool.
11BX1371. 11BX1371 is an art project created by Parker Wright. The video has a play doctor staring at the camera, while Morse code messages are played. The video's messages contain cryptic allusions to a plague hitting America. Maybe Wright was, in fact, right about that. There was a shitty Vice video that tried to solve the mystery, kinda like that movie Searching, but it really doesn't add anything.
Professor Jeffries. Oh, whoa.
Feel good today. You're stronger than you think.
Oh.
Feel Good Today. Feel Good Today is an inspirational video by Jordan Underneath. Jordan used to be a video game YouTuber, but he eventually broke away from that and committed to making horror short films. Feel Good Today is a sequel to the short film I'm Here to Help, and it's the second appearance of the dinosaur therapist. My interpretation is that the video is supposed to comment on the sometimes cold and insensitive aspects of therapy. The dinosaur encourages just feeling good and ignoring the sadness you feel. Behind the scenes, though, he's been running calculations and experimenting on therapy in a way not too dissimilar to pharmaceutical companies. That's just my interpretation, though. And if for any of these entries you perceived anything different, please leave a comment.
What do you mean by next layer?
Alan Tutorial. Alan Tutorial is a series created by Alan Resnick. Alan is the creator of many great projects like Live Forever As You Are Now, This House Has People in It, and unedited footage of a bear. The channel was created to parody shitty tutorials on YouTube and features Alan's descent into insanity. Alan can do no wrong, and this series is not an exception.
Oh, this is my favorite song. Possibly in Michigan.
I bite at the hand that feeds me, slap at the face that eats me, some kind of animal cannibal.
Possibly in Michigan. Possibly in Michigan is a 1983 horror musical short film. The film follows a cannibal as he stalks two female best friends through a mall. They go home together and the cannibal follows them. In a surprise twist, the two women kill the cannibal and proceed to eat him. While eating, they're both topless and smoking, which among many other hints has led people to think that the film is about being a lesbian. I couldn't believe this film is 38 years old. The humor seems far too modern and definitely ahead of its time. The internet agrees because it both went viral on Reddit and TikTok. Pickle Surprise. Pickle Surprise is a short film created by Tom Rubens and other famous drag queens such as RuPaul in the year 1989. The video features the queens making a ham sandwich and repeating that there's a pickle surprise. Hopefully you understand what pickle they're referring to, so I won't have to explain it.
No, I didn't. Okay.
The video is really funny and shows how much we owe the LGBT community for experimental art in the past.
That is a cool.
Meat Sleep.
What the?
Meat Sleep is an ARG created to look like it was made by a serial killer. The narrative focused around a fictional killer named Meat, who cannibalizes his victims. Most videos feature strange imagery paired with even stranger audio. The series was created by members of the 4chan Paranormal Board. The team decided to end the series because they had some psychotic fans accusing people of being meat in real life. The "You Live Here" line from Ingrate is truly horrifying, and that one video is a pretty good summary of the entire project if you want a taste of it. Look at the Clown. Look at the Clown is a fake exposure therapy video meant to alleviate chlorophobia in children. The video consists of flashing images of clowns while scary carnival music plays. This whole video has a threatening aura from the slides at the beginning, and that makes you imagine the horror of a child viewing this program. The channel this is on has a whole series of exposure therapy videos covering different topics in an equally unhelpful way. Shay St. John. Shay St. John is a character created by the late punk artist Eric Foreigner. The character is featured prominently in short films he created. Shay was a model who was hit by a train and became a quadruple amputee. Fortunately for her, though, she was able to replace her limbs and parts of her face with mannequin parts. The original videos date back to 2006 and 2007, but they have since...
Oh, frick, I chose a different one. No, don't want to watch the Amazing World of Gumball one. Go back.
The PayPal QR code is used in our farm store to take touch-free payments. We are seeing...
Forever. There you go. I was too interested.
Foreigner.
There you go.
The character is featured prominently in short films he created. Shay was a model who was hit by a train and became a quadruple amputee. Fortunately for her, though, she was able to replace her limbs and parts of her face with mannequin parts. The original videos date back to 2006 and 2007, but they have since been removed by YouTube. Robert Heltman.
Oh, Robert Heltman.
Robert Heltman was the channel responsible for the Surreal Daisy series. The whole series was uploaded at the same time, and has footage of what people presume to be a corpse named Daisy. The only character in the series is Daisy's supposed killer, who plays with her lifeless body. The series is incredibly short, with the video runtimes adding up to only 5 minutes and 37 seconds. The descriptions are very infantilizing of Daisy, which has led people to assume that the killer views the body as his child.
Bottom of the iceberg. Oh, Beast again?
Plastic Men. Plastic Men is another video in the Treats for Beasts series. The video appears to be a loop of a beast saying, "Plastic men, women and children want to tickle me in the wilderness. They watch as I caress my exposed spine. I'm ashamed of my own body." The loop repeats for about a minute and a half. The video is quite unnerving because you can tell the beast is in pain and afraid of the plastic people looming over him that keep getting closer and closer with each loop. Many commenters have compared the beast's fear to PTSD from being assaulted. He was tickled and forced to expose himself without consent, and now he harbors body dysmorphia. Art can be a good medium to help people express trauma, and Plastic Men's message has definitely resonated with members of the YouTube community. Poochie and Pansy. Poochie and Pansy is a flash animation series tied to an ARG. The series features cute animals getting into wacky and uncharacteristic situations. The series heavily relies on jump scares to be even remotely scary, giving the whole project kind of a cheap horror feel. I can't recommend watching this one unless you like going deaf from all the screamers. There's a remastered version of episode 1 that has no jump scare, and I actually enjoyed it. I hope if they ever remaster the other episodes, they focus more on distortion than just scary loud noises.
Ooh. I like this one. This one looks cute. Oh, okay. So cool. Coco Shopping. Coco Shopping. Kid shopping time. Why does that look like Pip?
Coco Shopping. Coco Shopping is another horror short film from the creator of Username 666, Piropedo. Piropedo is a Japanese artist who combines morbid imagery with dolls, and nowhere is this more prevalent than in this entry. Coco Shopping is an animated toy unboxing video that has blatant satanic imagery. The dolls, while reviewing products that they bought, are lit on fire and then gutted gruesomely. The creator has stated that all of his pieces just exist to exist and don't really have a hidden meaning, but there's no way that this doesn't have any subtext. Recently, the video's English captions were hijacked, and while some people might find it funny, I think it was kind of a bad thing to do. It's like showing up to an art gallery just to write around the paintings in Sharpie. Sure, it's not damaging, but you're ruining someone's experience. The Maker. The Maker is a short film from Christopher and Christine Kazillos. Touching on themes like the circle of life and futility of human existence, the film has a clay creature create and educate his successor. When his hourglass is up, he fades away for his creation to come to life and fill his role. His creation is his daughter that he created, and he spent his entire life trying to equip her with knowledge and help prepare her for life struggles. This desire is tied into all our minds with our desire to make and provide for children. Without the cycle seen in The Maker happening millions of times throughout history, nobody would be here were it not for the sacrifices of our ancestors. I disagree with the placement of this entry because 13 million views is quite a bit compared to the upcoming videos, but there's no question that this is one of the best animated shorts on YouTube. Cameraheads. Cameraheads is a video of TV static. The video is about 9 minutes of nothing with a few creepy bits thrown in. The real significance of the video is its supposed tie to a lost creepypasta. Allegedly, the pasta originated around 2008 and had someone named Trevor being kidnapped by a camerahead. A man with a camera for a head, I presume. An event that's supposedly represented in this video. Whether or not this video is tied to the creepypasta, or even if cameraheads existed in the first place, is still a mystery.
Do not be afraid.
Oh my god. Okay. I just had a heart attack. Okay, I'm just gonna put the timer down now.
Angel. Angel is a creepy edited video of the Czech character Radifak Plačka. His name roughly translates to the nosy blanket in English. The nosy blanket sporadically moves around the scene while strange music plays and demonic noises come out of his mouth. The edited video is likely inspired by Blame It on George's Top 20 Unintentionally Disturbing Kids Characters from Around the World, where he placed third on the list. The upload dates support this, with George's video predating Angel by about a year.
On this big, alright, if it's a male, you might have lines like that from the baldness. Okay? Now, so what you do is you grab it around here. You grab it here, you peel it back like that. Okay? Peel it back, alright, and then it'll pull off. It'll make a disgusting sound.
Grave Robbing for Morons. Grave Robbing for Morons is an instructional video on how to steal from the dead. A teen shows off his plunder of human remains and gives questionable pointers on how you could do it too. The video has a very late 80s and early 90s VHS feel, almost like you could have found it in the back room of a family video years ago. The film allegedly was released with a few other shorts on VHS, but the only surviving physical copies of this collection are DVDs. There is a VHS you can buy of the film individually from an indie horror company, King of the Witches. The video is most likely a fake produced by them, but it's quite convincing.
I still want it. Obvious, I forgot, Ooh, I like the colors.
Smile Guide. Smile Guide is a horror series from the channel Karina Grisbo TV. The series is made to replicate an old VHS recording of an 80s show. Karina Grisbo TV is based in Poland, so the series has quite a bit of imagery and themes that reference the Cold War and Poland under communist rule.
Is this in a different language?
There's also quite a lot of references to mushrooms and psychedelic use, especially with the title that translates in English to Land of Mushrooms. This entry is far too low in my opinion, so it's quite popular, but it's become more obscure in recent years.
Apple. Oh, an ad. I don't need meditation. Stop it. I'm not anxious about the future. Go away. There you
You know, I've learned to walk around inside my own head. Now, that may sound silly to you, but it's been very, very helpful to me.
I see.
Let me show you how it's done.
No, thank you.
In case you want to try it.
No.
Wimbo, the Organized Mind. Wimbo, the Organized Mind is a short film by Jim Henson. The film stars the Muppet Wimbo as he discusses the different regions of his mind. Wimbo is a pair of eyes and a mouth, which paired with the retro analog computer animations make him really uncanny looking. The short has a really incredible soundtrack too. I think that the piece is about someone trying to put together their mind after suffering from PTSD-like symptoms. In the short, towards the end, gunshots shatter a pane of glass, representing Wimbo's sanity. It's quite confusing how a piece of art by one of the most popular children's artists could be this obscure and creepy.
Children artist. What the? Okay, I wasn't expecting that. PR to something educational video. Is there basketball in the background or something? Lesson 1. Okay. Room orientation. Room number 1. What the?
PHR 2-771. PHR 2-711 is a video from the channel Espacio Omnium.
Because I'm the smartest.
The video this entry references is kind of trying so hard to be scary, it ends up being campy, but there's one thing that can't be denied. The music is really good. Their most recent upload is Inside Elevator 33, and I checked that one out instead. It's basically just a 17-minute EP of electronic music, and it sounds great.
They own an animal. Oh, I get to read. Oh, okay. Oh, come on, really? You can't do this to me, man.
Imagine Dome is a YouTube channel run by a schizophrenic Satanist. This isn't an ARG though, this is someone's real art. The videos focus on topics centered around his disillusionment with society. The production is minimal, but it feels so genuine. The last 2 videos center around the creator discovering he has cancer. Upon learning this, he flies to a first world country for a biopsy and a second opinion. He learns that the first diagnosis he got was wrong, and decides to live life to the fullest. This series has stuck around in my mind for years, and I doubt I'll ever find a channel as visceral as Imagine Dome. All the content discussed in this next layer is disturbing. If you get unsettled easily, this probably isn't for you.
No, I'm good. Oh my god. Okay, I'm good.
Mondo Films. Mondo is a genre of exploitation documentary films from the 60s and 70s, started by the Italian film Mondo Carne. Basically, think Cannibal Holocaust, but real. The films contain many graphic and shocking scenes of death, war, animal cruelty, and racism. Some of them contain important historical documentation in some scenes, but many other scenes are disturbing.
If you don't like certain gore or subjects that are in this, then you may want to leave and come back later. But there's going to be disturbing stuff. So.
And unnecessary. You would think that YouTube, being the squeaky clean platform that it is, would never allow this content up, but you can watch many full Mondo films on the site. Plasma Master Dom. Plasma Master Dom was an elderly man who used to upload covers of popular songs. He used to be viewed as a wholesome YouTuber.
It said there was like disturbing topics on this part of the dark abyss.
Until it was unearthed that he was a child predator. YouTuber Nick Crowley made an expose video about the similarities he shared to someone on the Federal Sex Offender Registry, and just 10 days after this viral video was posted, Don passed away. If everything was true, it's safe to say he won't be missed. Monkey hate. I can't believe this exists. Monkey hate is a community of people that hate monkeys and want to inflict violence on them.
Monkey
There are
hate?
many theories ranging from trolling, people's hate of humanoid-like animals, or the posters being from countries where monkeys are a common pest. I can't imagine hurting any animal unless it's for food, but these people seem to take joy in the thought of hurting monkeys for entertainment. Mr. Sleepy People. Mr. Sleepy People was a former YouTube channel that would post videos of himself opening sleeping girls' eyelids to, as he insinuates, lick their eyes while they slept. Unfortunately, he was not the only person doing this, and there's a very big sweep fetish rabbit hole on YouTube.
Oh no.
Very obviously, the women could not consent as they were not only asleep, but, according to the title, sometimes drunk too. This is by far one of the darkest YouTube communities. Fake Animal Rescue. Fake Animal Rescue is a trend of videos where people would either endanger...
Okay, I've seen this on TikTok before about the fake animal rescues. They do that on TikTok, and my little sister likes watching it, but I don't like watching it with her because it just makes me feel upset.
Their animals, or intentionally hurt them, and then show footage recorded before to make it seem like they rescued them. The channels that participated in this would accept donations, essentially meaning that they were paid to commit their atrocities. More animal abuse on YouTube, what a surprise. Mr. Anime. Mr. Anime was a popular YouTuber who suddenly became a serial killer, murdering his mother, father, and brother in a blind rage. His content seemed innocent, only occasionally talking about his casual interest in firearms. It was quite a tragic event because it seemed like there wasn't a ton of premeditation. He just snapped one day. He's currently being held in a psychiatric hospital.
Oh, jeez.
Gore. It's just gore. Do I need to explain this? You can find it on YouTube because of course you can. Well, that sucked, but hopefully you learned something. I certainly did, and that's why I love horror content, and why I hate the real-life equivalent that's sometimes only one bad click away. If there's anything I missed, please comment down below, and maybe I'll do a follow-up. I have a playlist that contains videos from all the entries I mentioned in the first 7 tiers. Have fun.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm done with that. I didn't actually know many of those things. I didn't expect animal abuse to be one of the main things on the YouTube list. So, I think everything else was interesting except the one part of the animal abuse, but I think everything else was interesting and liked it. But I can't believe I watched that for 40 minutes. But I wouldn't have watched it if it wasn't interesting. So, any other icebergs? I feel so bad for the animals. Same. It is monkeys and dogs. I mean, monkeys, I don't understand. Dogs, I don't understand either. I have a dog, and even if I step on her paw, I feel super bad. Also, you can choose another iceberg if you want. I really don't mind. It could be any amount of time, any iceberg. I have all night. Oh, jeez. Hold on. There you go. Wait. I think it should be good if I plug it in right here. Okay. So you can choose iceberg. Jesus Christ, my charger won't plug in. Oh, jeez, I didn't get to read that. Hold up. Pretty sure there's a long creepypasta iceberg. I was gonna draw something earlier, but I was quickly disinterested. Aw, why was that? You should have drawn something long. Wait a minute. That's what she did. I mean, what? Pretty sure it's a long creepypasta iceberg. Well, I'll look it up and see. Creepy. Okay. Creepy. Bird. That's what you get for saying that. Iceberg, guys. Iceberg. Yes, iceberg. What the heck? Okay. Iceberg. Okay, you choose one, Daniel. And I'm gonna drink water. Oh no, my cap. I lost my cap. Whatever. Okay, this, I'll let you pick one. Ah, yes. Water. Yes. Mostly, I usually get the one with the ice in it, but I don't have any in the freezer right now. And I'm not gonna wait, like, 3 more hours for it to freeze at, like, 1 in the morning. The first one is okay, wait, I keep having to go sideways because I can only read the comments in sideways. The first one is a huge deep dive in detailed. So, I guess we're doing that one. And that's a freaking hour long and 31 minutes. Oh, goody.
Yo, my, don't you look familiar? Have we perhaps met before? Maybe upon an extremely deep scuba diving expedition? Maybe not. Maybe it's just my imagination. Either way, I'm glad you're here with me. Because today we're going to be taking a look at another iceberg. But not just any mere iceberg. No. Rather, the ultimate creepypasta iceberg by Reddit user, the one and only Fried Pickle Boy. I'm sure I don't have to tell you what an iceberg is by now. You all know it's a tier list of any given topic, from the tip of the iceberg to the deepest layers of inky black topics that almost no one knows about, or at the very least no one wants to talk about anyway. This iceberg will cover everything from good creepypasta classics to overrated trash, to obscure gems, to everything in between. Please bear in mind that we will not just be summarizing random creepypastas either. I mean, we will be doing that. But additionally, we will also be looking into the lore of the pasta, possibly who wrote it, its history, its evolutions over time, what impact it made upon the medium, as well as any remakes, sequels, or what have you that is often associated with said pasta. Or in other words, this ain't your mama's creepypasta iceberg video. All the same though, I will be honest with you, after that 6-hour deep dive into the ocean last time, I think I'd like a bit of a change of scenery myself. So today, I've made an executive decision. This iceberg is no longer an iceberg. It is now an island. With all that being said, please, take my hand, traveler of the net, and let us see what story.
Hurry up. It's taking
of his being children, and in a few cases, he also has the ability to turn people into his mindless zombies, or proxies, to do his bidding. The first notable piece of media the Slender Man appeared in was a YouTube video series by the name of Marble Hornets, in which the Slender Man went by the name The Operator, which is a pretty cool name change, I must say. I'd say this video series was instrumental in getting the word of the Slender Man out there, as well as inspiring many other others to utilize the character themselves, which would eventually lead to the famous Slender the 8 Pages video game, which let me tell you, if you weren't there when this thing hit the scene, it's fair to say this game blew up across all YouTube in the same way Five Nights at Freddy's or Among Us did, with entire YouTubers' careers exploding from simply playing the game, including the ever-popular PewDiePie. I'd also say that many games, even to this day, owe their core concept back to this free, simple indie game about collecting 8 pages while Slender Man pursues you in a forest. One such example would be Baldi's Basics, a free indie horror game that got extremely popular across YouTube, which essentially was Slender Man but set in a school setting. There was, of course, a million other Slender Man games after that, like an exorbitant amount of other games. And eventually there were even Slender Man movies, like at least 3 of them, including one that made it all the way to theaters. Now, they're all complete and utter dog shit, but hey, not many creepypastas can say that they have a full feature-length film made about them. Of course, I'd also be amiss if I didn't bring up the infamous real-life stabbing that centered around the character. On May 31st, 2014, 2 12-year-old girls in Waukesha, Wisconsin held down and stabbed a 12-year-old classmate 19 times. When questioned later by authorities, they reportedly claimed that they wished to commit a murder as a first step to becoming proxies for the Slender Man, having read about it online. They also stated that they were afraid that the Slender Man would kill their families if they did not commit the murder. After the 2 girls had left their classmate for dead, the victim then crawled out of the woods to a roadway where a passing cyclist alerted authorities after spotting her. Their victim ended up surviving the attack after being stabbed 19 times because she willed herself to struggle out of those woods and to the road where she could get help. What a badass. The 2 perps were then apprehended and are currently serving time in a mental ward for being judged as mentally incapable of understanding what they were doing. This incident unfortunately brought a lot of attention to creepypastas and Slender Man in particular in a negative light for all the moms and pops that now had something new to worry about their kids possibly getting into. It's a shame, really. It only takes a few people to completely ruin something for everyone else. But at the very least, their victim came out with some scars, yes, but her life intact to see another day. And that is ultimately extremely inspiring, even if the entire incident should have never happened in the first place. Beyond that though, Slender Man is one of those creatures that managed to capture the attention of many internet goers, there being a clear Lovecraftian essence to the being. Its motives unclear, its powers truly unknowable, even the way it dresses like it were trying to fit in or mirror us in some way is one of the most interesting angles I find about the creature. A godlike being taking the form of something that we can recognize with our own human eyes. Yet we also can't seem to stare at it for too long before we start to recognize that what we are looking at is not exactly human. Before reality or free will, our life will eventually stripped away from us by its featureless gaze. Almost as if the uncanny reality that what we are looking at isn't truly human, a mere shadow of something more real is enough to break us down completely. It's good stuff. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, even if the character is far too oversaturated and sort of ruined for most people in that regard. Herobrine. Herobrine is an interesting case, as it's a creepypasta entirely centered around Minecraft, which means you either find this super interesting or you are already laughing at this point. But it's important to remember that this story goes far back, before Minecraft was anywhere near as big as it is today. Though, like most of these stories, the original place this urban legend came from was none other than 4chan's X-Board, specifically sometime around 2010. But the original post came with this screenshot, and essentially described a strange figure that mirrored his own player character that seemed to stalk him, just barely hiding in the fog of the render distance. distance. He also notes that any time they happen to catch a glimpse of this figure, they also notice that trees and other such things around said figure seem to be broken down, as if there were another player quietly existing in this world, before hiding back away when it was noticed. The user also noted that he was so desperate to find out if anyone else had come across this figure, himself believing it to be some sort of Easter egg or secret in the game that no one had discovered yet, that he posted this screenshot and parts of this story on several gaming forums and the like, only to eventually get an email from someone who went by the username of Herobrine, simply writing, "Stop," to him. Later, others would come to have similar experiences in seeing this strange figure in the game, many unsure of what to make of it. Eventually, the story evolves into the character of Herobrine being Notch's brother, otherwise known as the creator of Minecraft's brother, which is where things get pretty fucking dumb if I'm being honest. It's a shame because the story itself seems rather innocuous, in that it feels like something random and slightly creepy in a brand new game that was always being updated. It wasn't out of the question that such a thing could exist within the game, but once you start including stuff like it was Notch's dead brother and what have you, the whole idea falls apart and becomes extremely dumb. On that note though, the urban legend would soon spread around everywhere, with many reporting their own, albeit fake, sightings of the ghostly figure. The story itself also attracted the attention of several YouTubers and streamers who decided to make content around finding Herobrine or summoning him or what have you, which only made this whole thing more popular. It even got to the point where the creators of Minecraft themselves would often put at the bottom of their patch notes that they had finally removed Herobrine, leading some to wonder if he had in fact ever actually been in the game, even as a joke at some point. Well, I don't find the actual character and mythos of Herobrine very scary. I will say that some of these early screenshots feel very much like the more recently popular Liminal Spaces photos that have been making the rounds. It's that feeling that comes from a game that, especially in the beginning, was so empty and without purpose. I'd also say the idea is a little more scary than the actual character, as it taps into that feeling of being completely isolated, which Minecraft does notably well, and yet you get that tinge on the back of your neck that maybe you're not alone, that someone or something else is with you, silently watching you. Too bad it's just a fucking Minecraft guy with white eyes and not a cool monster or something. Dead Bart. Dead Bart is one of those early creepypastas that would come to be a defining piece of one of creepypasta's genres. And before I go any further, for those who are not aware or don't remember, creepypastas at some point became so diverse, the entire genre spawned off of different stories. One of the most pervasive of which was the Lost Episode creepypasta, which, as it implies, focuses around a lost episode of a TV show, cartoon, etc. The core idea is pretty cool. It taps into that lost media part of my brain that makes me want to see and know everything that there is to know about pieces of media that have long since disappeared for one reason or another. However, unfortunately, most lost episode creepypastas tend to follow certain tropes that make them sound extra silly and unbelievable and badly written. Take Dead Bart, for example. The creepypasta tells the story of a lost episode of The Simpsons, in which Bart dies after falling from an airplane. The author of the creepypasta claims he was able to find and watch this lost episode by confronting the creator of The Simpsons, Matt Groening, about the lost episode that everybody affiliated with the show refuses to acknowledge. Groening gives him a website address and begs him to never speak about the episode again. When the writer writer visits the website, he finds nothing but a download link, which contains the lost episode. In the episode, while Bart is messing about in an airplane, he breaks a window, and is then sucked out. The writer is keen to note how, quote, at the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of The Simpsons world represented life, and that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable. They took full advantage of not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of this dead body, unquote. Notice how he said photorealistic, not hyper-realistic. We're not quite there yet, folks. The writer goes on to describe how the second act of the episode just showed the whole Simpsons family crying at the kitchen table for an entire year of in-universe time, I suppose, before going to visit Bart's grave. At the cemetery, Bart's corpse is laying on top of his grave, and all the other graves bear the names of the Simpsons guest stars, even those who had not appeared on the show at the time the episode would have been written. Which is a pretty cool final dun-dun-dun moment for the story, I will admit. It's strange. The actual description of the episode is pretty tame and genuinely creepy sounding. The cemetery thing in particular is quite interesting, especially as it plays into the whole idea of The Simpsons having quote-unquote predicted things. It's a clever ending. The problem the story has is the really dumb way the author manages to get a hold of the episode, by simply asking Matt Groening for it. It just seems like the author didn't know how he was supposed to get the episode, so he just kind of made up the most awkwardly direct way he could have possibly gotten it. I do still appreciate the effort, as it is still far better than having no real explanation for how one got the lost episode at all, but it's still quite ridiculous. I should note also that for anyone who ever gets confused by my commentary with these creepypastas, the thing is, back when they were first written, there was almost always a clear intent to blend fiction with reality, to make these stories sound at least plausible. It's why Lost episode creepypastas struggle a little bit, as they can be well done, but the question of why they didn't share the episode with everyone else online becomes a real sticky question, along with how they managed to find it, breaking the illusion of any of this having even some iota chance of being real. While stories like Herobrine, for example, at least has some pictures and the like to help in making it feel a little bit more real, even if we all know that none of it is actually real. It just adds to the immersion, I suppose. But I digress. Lavender Town Syndrome. This one is a classic, and a short one too, that reads as follows. Quote, the Lavender Town Syndrome, also known as the Lavender Town Tone or Lavender Town Sneasuit, was a peak in Sneasuit and illness of children between the ages of 7 and 12, shortly after the release of Pokemon Red and Green in Japan back in February 27th of 1996. Rumors say that these Sneasuit and illness only occurred after the children playing the game reached Lavender Town, whose theme music had extremely high frequencies. The study showed that only children and young teens could hear, since their ears were more sensitive. Due to the lavender tone, at least 200 children supposedly committed suicide, and many more developed illnesses and afflictions. The children who committed suicide usually did so by hanging or jumping from heights. Those who did not acted irrationally and complained of severe headaches after listening to Lavender Town's theme. Although Lavender Town now sounds differently depending on the game, this mass hysteria was caused by the first Pokemon game released. After the Lavender Tone incident, the programmers had fixed Lavender Town's theme music to be at a lower frequency, and ever since, children were no longer affected by it. One video appeared in 2010 using special software to analyze the audio of Lavender Town's music. When played, the software created images of the unknown near the end of the audio. This raised a controversy, since the unknown didn't appear until Generation 2 games Silver, Gold, and Crystal. The unknown translates to leave now. There is also the said beta version of Lavender Town. It is said that the beta version of Pocket Monsters was released to some kids to test the games. This is the video of the beta version of Lavender Town. Unquote. You've been listening to the song in the background this whole time, so if you're all still alive and well by this point, I will say that the core idea of this one is super creepy. The core concept of binaural beats, type of thing affecting children's minds through a video game, sounds quite interesting and creepy, until that whole 200 children dying part. This is where the pasta fails, because you could just look it up and see that it's all fake. I feel as though basing it around maybe 1 or 2 children having extreme adverse effects to the story would have instantly made it more believable, since, you know, 200 children committing seppuku over some Pokemon music would probably make big news headlines. It would also probably mean the end for Nintendo, more than likely, and yeah, it just really brings the whole story down as a whole. But all well, I still do like the idea of putting an extra creepy story or a context to an already unnerving or uncomfortable song, though. Makes you think of it, if nothing else, every time you listen to it afterward. Jeff the Killer. So, Jeff the Killer. Well, I said Slenderman is probably the most iconic creepypasta character of all time. I'd be lying if I didn't know that this one is right up there, if not even more popular in some circles and some sects of time. Hell, I'll be even more honest. While Slenderman may be more enduring of a creature that many like to associate with creepypastas, the cold hard truth is that Jeff the Killer, this image, represents creepypastas on a base level that I think most would understand. It's a creepy image. What's there to know, really? You can see it, and that's it. I guess what I'm saying is, if there was a flag that represented the country of creepypastas, this image would surely be on it. Now, I won't go into the origins of this said image, as it's still pretty much a mystery. There used to be a rumor it came from an edit of this picture, with people on 4chan making fun of this girl because she was overweight, and eventually these edits of the picture were spread around to mock her, until eventually she committed no longer existing. But that's all been proven false by now. A creepypasta in of itself, really. But again, I digress. But if it were just this image, then we wouldn't be here talking about it today. No, like most creepypasta images, it had a story that was connected to it, to somewhat give backstory or justify the creepy image itself. And thus we have the story of Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer's story starts with a supposed excerpt from a local newspaper, which details a creepy-looking guy with a pale face and wide smile that tried to kill some kid, and just as he's about to, he says his titular catchphrase, "Go to sleep," before being stopped by said kid's dad and running away. After this prologue of sorts, we then follow the story of Jeff, his little brother Louie, and his family moving into a new neighborhood. On Jeff and Louie's first day at this new school, they get accosted by 3 bullies named Randy, Keith, and Troy, who Jeff then brutally beats up after they threaten him with knives, citing that he had a, quote, feeling inside of him that made him snap, unquote. Something that if you watched my stream reading this story, you probably came away understanding quite well. Anyway, the police want to arrest the kids that beat up those bullies, and so Louis takes the blame for doing it. And then the police just take him away, I guess, without trial or anything, or even much of a fight back from the parents. It's, well, kind of fucked up, but also really stupid, because that's not how it works in real life. So, Louis taking the blame goes to juvie, which leaves Jeff feeling guilty and depressed. But his parents decide to have him go over to some kid's party, because according to his mom, it will make things feel like they're back to normal, I guess. Which again, I guess the author really wanted the parents to feel extra fucking mean-spirited. But yeah, that's a pretty weird thing to say and do. So anyway, they go to the party, and then the 3 bullies from before that Jeff beat up invade the party and pull out fucking guns. And now they have these guns pointed at all the children and everybody and try to shoot Jeff. Which, by the way, no one even attempts to try and stop from happening. Not even Jeff's parents try to break up the situation or save their child or anything. They just all watch a bunch of 13-year-olds wrestle and fight and mess up the house while fucking stabbing each other and shit. So anyway, Jeff eventually kills one of the bullies and then gets a bucket of bleach poured all over his head, as well as some gasoline, I guess, and then gets lit on fire by the bullies and
Danny wanted me to react to some icebergs, and of course I wasn't going to deny, because that sounds interesting. Here, I'm going to go change the title real quick. Nah. Do. How do I edit it again? I forgot. Do. Burp. There you go. Iceberg, the title was... Yes, I know. I was animating before, and now I'm looking at icebergs.
Goes running down the stairs screaming before collapsing. Now, somehow instead of like burning his skin off and torching his hair away, he instead turns...
I put it 3.0 because it was the 3rd try, because my live stream kept turning off. So yeah, that's why I put it 3.0.
Pearly white, and his hair turns an inky black, because you all know that's just how it works. You want to dye your hair black, guys? Just light it on fire. Does the trick every time, of course. Anyway, between being burned alive and seeing his...
messages I keep, because my thing is not in the right... Here, hold up. Won't be using chat much, but yeah... Okay, there you go.
Pretty new mug, Jeff kind of snaps and decides to cut a big smile on his face, Joker style. He then burns his eyelids off as well. His mom and dad see this, and in response, pulls out a fucking shotgun on him. Which I gotta say is a pretty crazy reaction. I mean, I know your kid is kind of fucked beyond belief, but you just gonna shoot him now? So, Jeff then kills both of his parents, and for some reason, then kills his brother Louis as well, even though he has shown that he is loving towards his brother before and felt bad about him being blamed for taking the fall for him, and was happy when Louis came back home. He still kills his brother though, so yeah. He of course says his iconic line again before killing Louis. And that's pretty much it. Go to fucking sleep. That is the story of Jeff the Killer, one of the most iconic creepypasta stories ever written, which, let me tell you, was not exactly something a lot of creepypasta writers and readers were happy about at the time. You see, you may see this ugly face and think, that's kinda creepy, but to teenage boys and girls... Let me tell ya, this boy was a fucking hotcake. Now, to be fair, slowly over time, as Jeff the Killer gained in popularity, his depiction went from this potato-headed freak to basically L from Death Note, but with a Joker smile and hoodie. It would be this version of Jeff the Killer that I'm sure would be in the hearts and minds of many creepypasta writers that either wrote what amounted to various sequels and fanfictions surrounding Jeff the Killer, or in some cases would write their own version of Jeff the Killer that was a moody, misunderstood teenager with a dark past/childhood of abusive parents that eventually would be murdered when said teenager has enough and goes fucking nuts, and goes on to become one of the most powerful and cool serial killers this side of the net. If you can't tell, there's a fair bit of fantasy fulfillment in these stories that makes reading them both ironically unnerving, but mostly kind of funny. They are quite the guilty pleasure of mine, I must admit. I poke fun, but I love Jeff the Killer, and not because it's well written, and not because it's scary, but because it's a fucking great read. It's very funny, very interesting, and just has a lot of elements that unintentionally make it a masterpiece. But bear in mind, many were getting very tired of the trend, as Insert Name the Killer stories were completely flooding every website that was accepting creepypastas, notably the Creepypasta Wiki, to the point that at some point, any story with Insert Name the Killer in them would be immediately banned from the Creepypasta Wiki.
Hell, Jeff the Killer itself was actually taken down off the website after about a year of its creation for it not meeting the standard the community was going for.
And let's be real, even if it really did meet the standard, I think the main problem is they probably wanted it to be a clear message that they don't want a million more of these types of stories to have to sift through every single day. But anyway, I don't want to harp on too much more about the story, but it is also notable that due to the popularity of the story, the Creepypasta Wiki would eventually have a writing competition back in 2015 to try and write the same basic story of Jeff the Killer, but make it better, even good perhaps, which would be voted on by the community at large. The winner of which was written by K. Banning Kellum, one of the admins of the wiki, and sort of well-renowned for his work, and can still be read on the wiki to this day. In case you're wondering, the K. Banning Kellum version of the story follows many of the same events, but is written far more competently, with Jeff's face getting fucked up and burned by a flare gun. That's one of the differences. Actually burning off his skin and hair on one side of his face, making it more of a Two-Face type killer versus the Joker type killer that the original had. And while the core foundation isn't exactly good, again mainly due to the story being rooted in this weird, edgy, fantasy-like scenario, I will commend the author for making what is probably the best version of this bad story that one could possibly make. Oh, and also, there's apparently a rather popular novella based around Jeff the Killer titled Insanity, Jeff the Killer by Nisha Nicholson. I've never read it myself, mainly because I have to buy it. But if any of you are interested in me covering it in a future video, then let me know in the comments down below, and I will spend that $5, however irresponsible it may be. The Russian Sleep Experiment. The Russian Sleep Experiment is one of the most popular and well-loved of nearly all early creepypastas. The story recounts an experiment set in the late 1940s at a covert Soviet test facility. In the story, a military-sanctioned scientific experiment is done on 5 political prisoners who are being kept in a sealed gas chamber with an airborne stimulant continually administered in order to keep the subjects awake for 30 consecutive days. The prisoners were falsely promised that they...
I've never heard of this creepypasta. So then we have about maybe another hour to go of this. So we have next to go Eyelash Jack, Mr. Widemouth, Smile Dog, The Rake, Red Mist, Sonic.exe, Ben Drown, Laughing Jack, and Candle Cove. So We got another hour of this. Let's go.
Would be set free from the prison if they were to complete this experiment. The story then proceeds to showcase what happened to the prisoners. After 9 days, one subject began screaming uncontrollably for hours, while the others had no reaction to his outburst. The man screamed for so long that he tore his vocal cords and was rendered mute as a result. Later, other subjects prevented the researchers from looking inside by pasting torn book pages with their own feces on the porthole windows. By the 15th day, the researchers decided to turn off the stimulating gas and reopen the chamber. The subjects did not want the gas to turn off, for fear that they would fall asleep. Upon looking inside, they discovered that the 4 surviving subjects had performed lethal and severe mutilation and disembowelment on themselves during the past days, including tearing off flesh and muscles, removing multiple abdominal internal organs, practicing self-cannibalism on themselves, as well as cannibalism on the second subject, and allowing 10 centimeters or 4 inches of blood and water to accumulate on the floor by jamming pieces of flesh from the second subject into the drain, who was also found dead on the floor as soon as the chamber was opened. After being somewhat treated for their severe injuries, the surviving 3 subjects were prepared to return to the gas chamber with the stimulant by the orders of the military officials, though against the will of the researchers, with EEG monitors showing short recurring moments of brain death. Before the chamber was sealed, one of the subjects fell asleep and died, and the only subject that could speak screamed to be immediately sealed within the chamber. A military commander would later order for 3 other researchers to be clothed inside the chamber alongside the 2 remaining subjects. One researcher immediately drew his gun and killed the commander and the mute subject by shooting them both in the head, causing the other person to flee the room. With only one surviving subject, the terrified researcher explained that he would not allow himself to be locked in a room with monsters that could no longer be called people. He desperately asked what the subject was, to which the subject smiled and identified himself and the other fallen subjects as an inherent evil inside the human mind that is kept in check with the act of sleeping. Quote, "We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go into the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread." Unquote. The story ends with the researcher shooting the last prisoner in the heart, and with his dying breath on the floor, the subject muttered his final words. "So, nearly free." This is a popular creepypasta that I actually agree with being so popular. It's very well written, and it's very engaging seeing how these prisoners will break down step by step. The tone feels very much like an SCP story. It just replaced the unknown entity with, well, whatever you interpret the sleepless men to be. It also has a slight hint of reality, as communist Russia did all sorts of fucked up and weird things back in this time frame to political prisoners and people in general. And while this whole story is obviously fiction, there is a tinge of dark reality that the story mirrors that stems from the experiments of the Cold War. Eilish Jack. On June 7th, 2010, this photograph was posted to 4chan by a user named Arnon. The title of the post was Nightmare Fuel, which contained images of disturbing creatures from video games, and one of the images featuring the original photo of Jack. Originally, this photo was all there was to this. In a similar fashion to Jeff the Killer, originally, before the infamous story, was just this iconic image. However, on February 25th of 2012, a creepypasta wiki user by the name of Azel5000 wrote this, tale of the scary, quotes. Hello, my name is Mitch. I'm here to tell you guys about an experience I had. I don't know if it was paranormal or whatever stupid words people use to describe supernatural phenomena, but after that thing visited me, I believe in that paranormal trash now. A week after I moved in with my brother Edwin, after my house was foreclosed, I finished unpacking. Edwin liked the idea of me moving in, since we had not seen each other for 10 years. So I was excited, too. I soon fell asleep after I moved in. After that week, I heard rustling noises coming from outside at about 1 in the morning. I thought it was a raccoon, so I ignored it and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, I told Edwin about it, and he agreed. The next night, however, I thought I heard my window opening, and a loud thump, as if something entered my room. I darted up and looked around my room, but I saw nothing. The next morning, Edwin dropped his coffee cup when he saw me. He held up the nearby mirror, and I saw myself. There was a large gash in my left cheek. After I was rushed to the hospital, my doctor told me that I must have been sleepwalking. But then he showed me something that made my blood turn cold. He lifted up my shirt to reveal a sewn-up incision where my kidneys were. I stared into his eyes, mine widening. You somehow lost your left kidney last night, my doctor told me. We don't know how, though. Sorry, Mitch. The next night was my breaking point. Around midnight, I woke up to see a truly horrifying sight. I was staring face to face with a creature with a black hoodie and dark blue mask.
I thought Eyeless Jack was a freaking clown.
With no nose or mouth, staring down at me. The thing that scared me the most was that it had no eyes, just empty black sockets. The creature almost had some black substance dripping from its sockets. I grabbed the camera from the nearby mantle and took a picture. Immediately after taking the shot, the creature lunged at me and tried to claw open my chest to get my lungs. I stopped it by kicking it in the face. As I ran out of my room, I grabbed my wallet. I would need the money. I ran out of my brother's house into the night. I eventually ended up in the woods near Edwin's house and tripped on a rock. I fell unconscious and woke up in the hospital. My doctor, the same one who treated me before, entered the room. I have some good news and bad news, Mitch, the doctor started. The good news is that you have minor injuries, and your parents are gonna come pick you up. I sighed with relief. The bad news is your brother has been killed by some thing. Sorry, my parents took me back to Edwin's house to collect my remaining belongings, which I did. Upon entering my room, I was scared, but remained calm. I grabbed my camera and then stopped dead in my tracks. In the hallway leading to my room, I saw Edwin's body and something small lying next to it. I retrieved it up and entered my parents' car, not mentioning Edwin's corpse. I looked at the thing I had picked up and nearly vomited. I was holding my stolen half-eaten kidney with some black substance on it. The end! As my friend Lucid said, this story reads like a bulletin point list. No details, no depth. Just a...
That's not Eyeless Jack. I'm thinking about something else. That's Eyeless Jack. Which one was the clown again? Hold up, I need to know. Laughing Jack, that's the clown. Okay.
A constant stream of, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, the end. I especially love the detail of his brother.
That looks like the marionette from Five Nights at Freddy's. Just pointing out.
His corpse being in his house, and him telling no one. And then also there was a black substance, an item right next to his brother's corpse. Like some fucking RPG character. He fucking looted it, picked it up, and then didn't even realize what it was until he got into the car. It's quite special. But all the same, this story would inspire a surprisingly similar reaction to that of Jeff the Killer. And by that, I mean he became a magnet for some interesting fan art, turning him from this kind of, I guess, creepy image into this emo boy who wears a mask. Though while I can at least understand why people would get this from the edgy fanfiction writing and characters of Jeff the Killer, Eyeless Jack's story seemed extra strange that it would create this kind of reaction and fan base. That is until I remembered that this creepypasta creature had a very popular unofficial origin story made about them simply titled The Origin of Eyeless Jack by author Sally Williams. The origin story follows Jack Nicholas, a college student. Through a chain of events, Jack finds a sort of friendship with one of his peers, Jenny, and a small group of her friends. Jack later on discovers that the group is a fucking cult worshipping a demon named Chernobog. Jack involuntarily is made to be a sacrifice for the cult, to be the son of Chernobog or something like that. Jenny and her friends proceed to blind Jack by pouring hot, tar-like substance into his eyes, killing him in the process. His body is then possessed by the demon, and he then proceeds to butcher Jenny and the others, ripping off their masks, slashing their throats, and disemboweling them. He took their kidneys afterward as well, tying it back into the original story. So in other words, Jack has a tragic backstory like Jeff the Killer, but instead of, bullies with guns, we have cults and demons possessions. Which, I'll admit, is at least a little bit more cool. But the story is still nothing to write home about. At least not to me. All the same, both of these have an extremely popular creepypasta legacy to their name, Mr. Widemouth. Mr. Widemouth, by author Perfect Circle 35, was actually one of the first creepypastas I ever came into contact with back in the day. I remember the term creepypasta was something...
Wait a minute, I'm starting to remember something. I think I used to want to make a creepypasta, and the character was called, I think it was called like ABC Boy. I think it was called ABC Boy. I need to do that and make it a creepypasta.
I had heard of once or twice around this time, and ultimately, I came to look it up on YouTube, and found a YouTuber called Mr. Creepypasta, and thus I dove right in. The story is our narrator's recollection of a strange creature he remembers meeting back when he was only 5 years old, diagnosed with monoculosis, bedridden, and housebound. The narrator meets a small creature that looks similar to a Furby, but with an exceptionally large mouth shortly after being diagnosed. The creature goes by Mr. Widemouth, and at first seems like a friend and someone to play with in his incapacitated state. Mr. Widemouth would hide under the narrator's bed, saying that he didn't want the narrator's parents to see him because he was afraid they wouldn't allow them to play with him anymore. Shortly after meeting Mr. Widemouth and spending a few days with him, the creature instructs our narrator to come with him to a small room at the end of the house's hallway. The narrator declined the offer, but soon agreed due to Mr. Widemouth's eager persisting. Once at the room, Mr. Widemouth opens a large window that was opposite of the doorway, and he beckoned the narrator to look at the ground below.
I like to play pretend up here,
Mr. Widemouth exclaimed.
I pretended there's a big, soft trampoline below this window, and I jump. If you would pretend hard enough, you bounce back up like a feather. I want you to try.
I was 5 years old with a fever, so only a hint of skepticism darted through my thoughts as I looked down and considered the possibility. It's a long drop, I said.
But it's all part of the fun. It wouldn't be fun if it was only a short drop. If it were that way, you may as well just bounce on a real trampoline.
I toyed with the idea, picturing myself falling through thin air only to bounce back to the window on something unseen by human eyes. But the realist in me prevailed. Maybe some other time, I said. I don't know if I have enough imagination. I could get hurt.
If you say so.
Events like this keep on happening, like Mr. Widemouth trying to convince him again late into the night that he really put a trampoline outside the window now, or that the narrator should try juggling knives because it was lots of fun, etc. Eventually, the narrator gets well enough that he's allowed to go outside, and when he does, Mr. Widemouth is once again waiting for him. The creature ends up showing the narrator this trail away from the house. He says that he has had many friends go down this trail, and one day, he would love to take the narrator down it as well whenever he is ready. Soon the narrator and their family gathered up all their stuff into the moving truck, since they have been waiting for our protagonist to get better first before finally moving to what was hopefully going to be their permanent home. As they drive away, our narrator sees Mr. Widemouth staring through his old bedroom window at him, waving him away, steak knife in hand. In the short epilogue of the story, the narrator returns to where the old house was, back at that place where he encountered the beast. However, the house was nowhere to be seen, as it had been burned down years after the narrator had left. The narrator decided to walk down that trail that Mr. Widemouth told him that he was going to take him down when he was ready so long ago. As he reaches the end of the path, he realizes where the path leads. It's a memorial cemetery where most of the tombstones belong to young children. That's the story of Mr. Widemouth. I have a lot of nostalgia for this one, especially since back in the day, on a very old YouTube channel, I had actually recorded this as my first major video, which was me reading Mr. Widemouth in an overly dramatic tone. I think I even had an intro where I was dressed up in all black with goth makeup and what have you. Fun times, also pretty cringy, but fun all the same. The actual story is pretty decent though. I really like the subtlety of the creature trying to convince the 5-year-old to commit not alive. The ending sequence could have been slightly longer. It's got the perfect twist/reveal moment with the cemetery, but the way it's written sort of undersells it a bit. Anyway, still a pretty good little short story all the same. Sand. So coarse and rough, and it gets all over the place. Unlike this transition into a commercial break, which is by comparison smooth and fall asleep, despite what some of these MCR groupies might tell you to do otherwise.
I don't want an ad, please.
Good soldiers dying, all because they couldn't see the future.
Can I try it?
Smile.jpg. So, this image, this is smile.jpg, or sometimes called smile.dog from time to time. In a similar fashion to Jeff the Killer, we don't actually know where this image came from exactly, though it is suspected it was from 4chan's export, probably. The story that is often connected with this picture expands on what witnessing it will do to one's psyche. Those who see the picture are said to begin having vivid dreams about the dog.
Yeah, I don't like Smile Dog. I am skipping Smile Dog. I don't like Smile. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna get to the rake, you know? Don't mind me, I'm going to the rake. You don't want
The Rake. The Rake originated on 4chan/bboard within late 2005. A thread was started by an anonymous user who stated, quote, "Hey B, let's make a new monster." Naturally, there were many ideas, but one stood out, and another user created a new thread based on this idea. The thread started with this post, quote, "Alright, this is for the people who like the 3 eyes, no apparent mouth, pale skin one. Here's what we've got so far. Humanoid, about 6 feet tall and standing, but usually crouches and walks on all fours. It has very pale skin, the face is blank, as in no nose, no mouth. However, it has 3 solid
humanoid monster thing, you know, like, Black Hole from BFB.
green eyes, one in the middle of his forehead, and the other 2 on either side of his head, towards the back. Usually seen in front of yards or suburban areas. Usually just watches the observer, but will stand up and attack if approached. When it attacks, a mouth opens up, as if a hinged skull that opens at the chin reveals many tiny but dull teeth. unquote. This creature eventually formed into what we now know as the Rake, although its appearance was tweaked a little bit. It still remained 6 feet tall and had no nose, but it also had grayish skin and 2 slightly larger than human eyes instead of the 3. The mouth became smaller than that of a human, but when provoked or attacked, opens freely at a hinge down at the neckline, showing hundreds of dull but not blunt teeth, which I think is the version of the monster more people are familiar with at this point. Notably being the general description of the beast from several creepypastas that were written and shared around 4chan, LiveJournal, and the Something Awful forums at the time. The main creepypasta most, and I'm sure this iceberg is referring to, is the one written around
Scissorhands? Professor Scissorhands? I don't know. I forgot that movie.
2006, and showcases several people's writings about the beast as far back as 1691, meaning this creature would be hundreds of years old, adding to its mythos and mystery. Quote, a mariner's log, 1691. He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the Rake, unquote. Another piece of writing comes from 1964 in the form of a commit no longer exists note, which reads as follows. Quote, as I prepare to take my life, I feel it necessary to assuage any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him, for once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoken saw his form, and once again I awoken, heard his voice, and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake.
I don't understand
Goodbye.
this. Well, I can't believe I watched a lot of that. I'm gonna take a break of watching that at least. Whew. Okay. Well, y'all still there? Well, y'all still there? Okay, good. Okay. That's good, and that's okay. It's 2 in the morning? Oh, jeez. What do y'all want to do? Let's see. I really want to finish the animation I was doing. I'm gonna go back to doing that. If you guys want to stay, then that's fine.